All right, let's just get to it. There's so much to go over. Wow, I have watched maybe 7 hours of content today about Ripple Swell, all of the interviews after the fact, and there's so much going on. So I'm going to do my best to show you some of the best clips and give you kind of what's going on. But there's just wow. I've built 10 videos today around Swell. I've recorded 8 of them. So if my hair's a little messed up, if I seem a little tired, I do apologize. I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can as we go through this information. But it's a pretty cool day, man. There's just so much going on. Good vibes in the air. It's great to see everybody. Let's see. Hunter says major sell-off. Yeah, you get these kind of, I don't know, man. I don't really want to get into kind of the why things are happening in the crypto market currently, and I think there's just the government shutdown. There's a lot of people not being paid. There's a lack of supply of dollars right now for some financial institutions. You have some people not being able to pay their bills right now, and I think it's the climate around the economy right now is kind of scary, and people don't know if what's going to happen. And so what we can do is on Friday, we'll spend some more time to address what's going on with the market and the economy and all that stuff. I can't go back and forth between the highs and lows of that and what's called, but it is painful. If you believe that the market is going to continue to go up over the next whatever, maybe these are buying opportunities for people. And maybe these are just opportunities to just sit and see what happens, So Nicole says, Black Tuesday sale. What's up, Nicole? Great to see you. Hope you're not spending too much time near the water cooler, but always a pleasure, Nicole. BT, love this guy's enthusiasm. I appreciate you, BT. What's going on? Jordan's here. Great to see you, Jordan. I hope you're well, man. Highway. What's up, Highway? Highway to Sunshine. Let's go. Great to see you. AK, what's up, my man? Bring us the news. Best channel out there. Oh, man, my heart goes out to you, AK. It's always nice to see you. Christopher, what's going on, dude? Great to see you, too. We got Noah here checking in from X. What's up, Noah? Sveta, always a pleasure, my friend. Great to see you. I hope you're doing well. John's checking in here. We got Chipper in the house. Great to see you, Chipper. Michael's here. Andrew's here. Oh, man. Peter O'Neill's here. Great to see all of you. All right, guys. Let's just jump right into it because there's no sugarcoating how much information is coming at you today. So let's just do this. So this was, I believe, last night. Kind of some of the things that are happening behind the scenes here. This was kind of the registration, people coming in, kind of talking, sharing ideas and short stories. Welcome to Swell. And then, you got Brad Garlinghouse looking sharp in his gray suit here. This is kind of what the event will look like inside of it. You had a lot of people here in the gallery. This is the stage. This is people kind of sitting for the different panels. And then, of course, outside you had a lot of, ripples everywhere. Before we jump into this, though, I do need to share with you, Ripple did acquire another company. I know there's been a lot going on. It's hard to keep track of all of this, but Ripple acquired a company called Palisade Inc. And so just to give you some quick rundown on this, of course, Ripple custody is designed for banks and financial institutions who want to safely secure their digital assets. With this acquisition, Ripple can now serve a broader set of customers and use cases. Palisade brings secure, fast, and scalable wallet as a service technology designed for quick movement of value and easy integration. I've done a bit of content on Palisade already. If you're interested, look for today or yesterday's content. You should be able to see a lot of stuff that's happening. All right. Just want to touch base with you here. Let me pull up the calendar. Hold on. All right, let me just show you this really quickly. So I know there's going to be a lot of content coming at you guys, but I just want to kind of show you some of the stuff that I've watched personally and what I think is going to be a lot of fun. That was not the schedule. Yes, I need the show me full Swell agenda. That's what I need, please. Okay, so Okay, the first thing you saw today was opening remarks by Monica Long. There wasn't really like any, earth-shattering blockbuster news in the opening remarks, but still worth watching. It was only about 10 minutes. You had, I think, Ashish coming in first. He's the gentleman from Evernorth. He had some opening remarks. He's kind of the MC. And then you had this really interesting keynote fireside chat with Adena Friedman. She is the CEO of the NASDAQ. This video is already out on my page. If you're interested in watching the whole interview and getting my live reaction from the interview, I thought there was a lot of really incredible things said. She once again was talking about the future of financial markets and how she sees blockchain playing a vital role in the path forward. She talks about the need for regulation and clarity for financial institutions. She discussed kind of like timelines on how long she believes like these things will take. I can honestly tell you, from the information that I've taken in so far today, and let me be clear, I still need to go watch a few hours worth of panels. I haven't been able to consume all of it just yet because there's a lot there. I do get the sense from the gentleman from BlackRock, Maxwell Stein, from Adena Friedman, from the co-CEO of Kraken. I do get the sense that this is still going to take some time, and we are not yet even there regulation-wise for these financial institutions to be able to upgrade all of these infrastructures to blockchain. I know there's a lot of people in the community that believe this is going to happen in the next 2 months. Listening to everything I listened today, it doesn't feel like that is what the timeline that these people have directly for all of this. And I know that's maybe not what you want to hear, but that was just my honest reaction from listening to, hours and hours and hours of content today. I do think there's a lot to learn here, and I think there's a lot of value here. But this was one of my kind of favorite panels this morning, just to understand kind of what this looks like from the CEO of the NASDAQ and what she's looking at. Now, this panel on tokenized assets, this was a great panel. This is where you saw the gentleman from BlackRock, Maxwell Stein. You also had Rory Calgary from Moody's. He was kind of okay. Nothing kind of really stood out to me that what he said. And you also had a lady from Robinhood. She had a lot of really great and amazing points on kind of like what Robinhood's looking at in their, with their technology, their development, where they're focusing on. I think there's a lot of value in spending some time watching this. The stablecoins and blockchain. This was a great panel. Of course, there are some highlights out of this one from Stephen McClurg from ETFs. I have some clips I'm going to show you here in just a second. You also had this panel here from Jack. You had Jack McDonald interview the gentleman from Kraken. That was all right, but that was very, very slow. That was kind of hard to get through. But anyways, let me show you some clips, guys. I just wanted to kind of give you that feedback. All right, so here is Maxwell Stein. This is the gentleman from BlackRock. This is a minute clip. Let me go ahead and play this for you, and I'll give you some context. So the lady here this is the young lady or lady from Robinhood. This is the gentleman from Moody's. This is the gentleman from BlackRock. All right, let's play this.
Who owns traditional securities today, right? If you take away the distinction that they're tokenized, that market will come, but in the short term, we need to prove out the utility. And there's two sort of separate segments of users that I think are going to be the earliest adopters here, and we need that market momentum in order to prove the utility to actually get the larger players to eventually come in.
So they are really seeking regulatory clarity. If they have regulatory clarity, they understand the rules of the road, they understand that the rules are there with the investor protection as kind of the North Star, then they can work within those rules. And I think they're all expressing an enormous amount of interest in getting more engaged in the digital asset ecosystem. Obviously, they're doing a lot of work already to tokenize fixed income, tokenize bonds, create stablecoins. I mean, you're seeing actually a lot of activity within the banks themselves to get engaged in the ecosystem. But I think to get them really engaged in the markets, there has to be regulatory clarity.
Okay, to get them engaged,
who owns traditional?
To get them engaged in the markets, there needs to be regulatory clarity, right? That was something that I heard again and again and again today. That's going to be a vital piece. Let me just check in with the chat here before we continue. I know there's a lot of stuff that is on my mind I want to get to. I want to see if there's any kind of things. Are you guys watching Swell today? Anyone kind of catching up? Anybody have any feelings or comments, any specific piece that they liked, anything that they heard that stood out to them. I'd love to better understand all of that. What's up, Scott? Checking in from the Big Island. Always good to see you, my dude. Angel says, I think it can move up a few dollars with the ETF. I think that's what a lot of people are hoping for, right? And we should get those very soon. Yeah, let me do this. I got a clip about ETFs. Hold on. Where is it? Hold on. I got so many clips here. Oh, you know what? I think here's a clip on ETFs. Let me play this. All right. This is Matt Hogan. I can never remember what company he's from. I do apologize, but he's addressing XRP specifically as well as ETFs in general. And I think it's a really bullish clip here. Let me play it.
We think there's demand for exposure to a large number of those altcoins. I think that you'll see assets like XRP and other major assets get their ETFs relatively soon. We've seen filings from the SEC, not talking about any specific filing, but we've seen those moving through the system. We're going to wake up in 6 months and investors are going to be able to use high quality, low cost ETFs to access the top 10, maybe top 20 ETFs. And then the next exciting thing beyond that is you're going to start to see ETFs that package those together in diversified exposures. Those index-based ETFs, I actually think could be one of the surprises of the market. I could think they could be, bigger even than the Ethereum ETF. So there's definitely more coming from Bitwise. We've entered the ETF era of crypto, and I think that's a very good thing for investors.
All right, ETF era of crypto, and we have seen some, additional documents. We also saw Evernorth acquires $214 million worth of XRP, so there is a lot of buying. Of course, with spot, we are looking here. Canary Capital expected to launch the first U.S. spot XRP ETF before November 13th, pending NASDAQ approval of the 8-A registration. Remember, when you start to see things about the 8-A registration, that's when you know we're like a day or two away from actually the trading to start. Bitwise is targeted for November 19th to 20th, but this could happen sooner. Franklin Templeton updated their S1 to remove delay provisions, aiming for November launch, and other regulated industries, like ProShares, 21 Shares, Volatility, CoinShares, and Grayscale are all going to be following suit. I'd imagine you're going to have just a bunch of things happening at the same time. You really don't want to have just one company leading or one company having the advantage for weeks. I think these are all going to be approved, pretty quickly. Obviously, it's kind of down to the institutions filing the right paperwork. And as long as the SEC doesn't stop that paperwork, those things will be approved. And so I would imagine any day now, we should start to see that, guys. Okay. I did want to... this is a good clip. Let's just come back to this real quick. So this is from the interview between Adina Friedman and Monica Long. I thought Monica Long was great today. She also, the one thing that you should watch, and I made a video, it'll come out on the channel probably tomorrow. We're trying to get this stuff out as quickly as possible. But she did an interview with CoinDesk, and it's about a 10-minute interview. And in that interview, she does, I think that is kind of jam-packed more for XRP holders. She talks about the XRP army. She talks about Ripple's acquisitions of companies and what their plans are, kind of why they've been doing what they've been doing. And I think there was a lot of value there for XRP holders. So that'll be out on the channel tomorrow as soon as we can. But if you're interested and you just can't wait, go watch that. That's going to be a great interview. Let's play this 133 clip.
Genius Act addresses stablecoins, but there's more work to do on regulatory clarity, I would say. So what would need to take place to pave the way for that vision to come to life?
Well, we are really pleased to see that the government is focused on it very holistically. You've got the legislative branches really focusing on how to put the right regulatory guardrails around stablecoin as well as around the markets, and as well as the SEC and the CFTC coming together. And I've been at NASDAQ, I started at NASDAQ 32 years ago. I've never seen the SEC and the CFTC work as well together as they're seeing right now.
That's amazing.
It really is, we should be very thankful for that moment, because there is a convergence of asset classes. There is a convergence of retail and institutions expressing interest in trading all these asset classes. And yet there is a very different regulatory environment for securities versus derivatives. So how do we create more convergence of the regulatory framework that covers all asset classes, but including crypto? And then also, how do we support innovation while still managing and really, really focusing on the North Star, which is investor protection. So I think that's the one thing that we kind of drumbeat constantly down in Washington. Investors, investors, investors. This is about creating a better investor experience, but also providing the right investor protections. And so let's frame the framework that we really focus on is modernizing the infrastructure while protecting investors.
Modernizing the infrastructure while protecting investors. Those are key top priorities. D-Nice, great to see you. What's going on? Let's see here. If ETF prices built in other words, have Canary and others bought XRP already in anticipation of the ETF? T. Scott, impossible to know. That information is not public. You cannot search it. I'd imagine some institutions have, and some institutions will need to do that because, like, you don't know what the demand is going to be, right? You don't know what the demand is just yet. So if the demand is very small, maybe they could use pre-bought XRP that they've already established. If the demand starts to grow larger and larger and larger, there's only so much XRP they would have for ETFs, remember. So, are they going to see, like, we need to separate what some of these institutions have for their for their timeline for XRP, right? So, like, some of these institutions have XRP for a specific reason, right? That specific reason might not have anything to do with ETFs. And so are they going to commingle those funds, which you probably shouldn't be doing, especially when you have a security like that, right? So could there be pre-allocated XRP for ETFs? Sure, but we don't know what those pre-allocations would be and, how much planning kind of went into that. So I know that's not really a question, but that's kind of like when you're asking this question, my mind goes both of these places. I hope that provided some value. I don't know. Noe, you're freaking out. What's up? Why are you freaking out? What about the Ripple Swell scam on YouTube? Oh, you know what? Somebody did say in the comments that they are seeing scams on YouTube. Okay. Listen, it doesn't matter where you see it. Assume anybody saying that you send me XRP or you send me anything and I'm going to send you back double, that's a scam. There's no shortcuts in life. There are only people trying to scam you out of your money. All right? Should YouTube be doing more to protect its users? Absolutely. Should these scams should they be even allowed to play? No, right? They should never make it back past their their process of understanding, is this a real company? Is this a scam? It's shocking. It's terrible. But we as investors, right, in the crypto space, we need to understand that all of these people are trying to scam us. Assume that everybody and everything you see, right, especially on YouTube for ads, are scams. Just don't participate. Stay away from it. You got to protect your assets like it's your bank account, right? You don't send money to somebody, if anybody in real life said, hey, send me $500 and I'll send you $1,000. Like, you would say, that's a scam. It's the same thing with crypto, right? Nobody's going to give you a free lunch. Please be careful. Thank you for bringing that up. No, he needs better weed, man. We all could use better everything, right? Where do you see all the Swell content? At X, a lot of it's on X. A lot of it's streamed on YouTube. I'm gonna have, at least 10 videos around it. Like, over the next 2 days, you're gonna see just a ton of content about it. And I'll, I'm watching live, giving you my live reaction, my opinions, my 2 cents where I think they're important. I didn't really want to talk too much. I did give some additional context and pieces on all the content, and you're going to start seeing a lot of it. You have to go through a lot of crap though on X to see it all. All right, this was another clip that we should be talking about here. This is actually, you know what? Before I play, wait, hold on. I have another one here. There's this one and this one. Okay, let's play this one first. Everyone should be unbelievably excited. All right, here is the CEO of Bitwise, this gentleman here, Hunter Horsley. Let me play it.
everyone should be unbelievably excited. You know, after XRPL and XRP are over 13 years old, the crypto space is maybe 15 years old. It's all happening now. This space for the first time is going mainstream in 2025. Part of going mainstream means that there are people coming on board, incredible institutions here at Swell who are building services, integrating, but they're mainstream by definition because they're doing other things also. And that means for them, a month is super fast, a quarter is fast. And so I think in the crypto space, the timeframes that people are familiar with are just getting pushed out. And there's a little bit of relearning how to interpret the news flow as a byproduct. But I will unequivocally say we've been around for 7, 8 years now. I have never seen it feel as inevitable as it does right now in this year that crypto is arriving to update the financial system and will be a mainstream asset class.
Crypto is arriving to update the financial system and will it be its own asset class. Yeah, guys, you know, I know it. The price is tough, man. It sucks. I don't know what to tell you. There's no way to sugarcoat it. I don't look at it unless I absolutely have to. I just don't. Like, it goes up, it goes down. I don't really care in the short term, right? Obviously, if it goes down low enough, I'll buy more, right? And I'll continue to buy. But like, I just, highs and lows, man. Highs and lows. However long this is going to take, whether it's 2 months, like Jay Claver says, or it's, 5 years, I don't know. I'm going to be here until it happens. Until somebody texts me, Sensei, we did it. We made it, right? Somebody like sends me a crazy GIF, like partying or I don't know. Like somebody somewhere is going to send me a text and I'll know what happened. Until then, I'm just going to do this. I know it's painful, man. And I'm with you and I understand it. How low is low enough? I don't know, man. You got to tell me. Pop-Tarts and Hamburger Helper. What's up, Chris? Great to see you. Great to see you, man. Let's see here. Matt Fitzpatrick says, Sensei, add 5 years to your age. In 5 years from now, you will be that age. What? So I'm gonna be 46. Stop it. This is not good. No pain, no gain. Dr. Pepper, DP. I like it, man. I like it. It's painful, guys. I know. I'm with you. I get it. It's frustrating. You buy crypto, it goes down. What the F? Is things gonna work out? I get it. I've been there. It's not fun. I should have waited a day. I should have waited a week. I should have waited a month. Yes. If you would have done that, you probably would have got more. Probably got it. But like on the other hand, we don't know how markets are going to, what if a tweet is going to tank the markets, or if, a shutdown is going to stop, a big portion of things moving forward in the US. Like, there's all of these things that are out of our control, right? And so all that we can do is learn, grow, and plan ahead, right? The day-to-day stuff, it impacts us very, very much. Like when we see the price go down, it probably is affecting your mood, right? Whether you're at work or you're with family, it's probably affecting the time with your kid. Like, this stuff can really mess with you, right? And I've been there. I live it every day, and it's horrible some days. But I try to have an understanding of where I need to get to, right? And all of this stuff in between now and where I need to get to is just noise. And the better that we can kind of push down the noise and just let it roll off of us, the healthier that we're going to feel and the better that we're going to be. And I know that's kind of maybe, I don't know, corny or whatever, but it's just kind of how I've learned how to deal with the ups and downs of the crypto market. It's painful. It's painful. And if you're not used to it, it's probably like, why the heck did my friend talk me into buying this, right? Like, I get it, right? I've been there. But, it's going to get better. We're going to get past the speculation. We're going to get to the utility. And once we get there, all of this will be worth it. All right. Is that your seal of approval? You are seriously awesome. This was a birthday present. Gotta love the seals, man. Gotta love the seals. All right. See, the seals have helped me through some really dark times in my life. Let's get back to some content, and then of course I want to answer as many of your questions as I can. Let's see. Hold on here. Tyler Funk says, "I like the hand. It did get my attention. Can you explain why financial institutions will need XRP when there is RLUSD? What if they just convert money to RLUSD to transfer funds instead of buy XRP?" So Tyler, that's a great question, man, and I'm really glad you asked that. So if you're talking about RLUSD on the XRP ledger, you still need XRP as the gas token to move that value. Okay. Yes, you're absolutely right that stablecoins will be used on a larger scale for certain payments, right? But in the end of things, right, and like at the end of it all, you still need this bridge asset to go in between different stablecoins, as well as financial institutions. Like, you got to imagine this: every financial institution, right? They want control. You know what? Let me pull up this tweet. This I'm remembering a tweet now. If I can find this tweet, it will kind of answer the question that you have here in a better Paul Barron. Let me pull this up real quick. Let me see if I can find it, and because I really want to touch base on your question here. I think it's important that we have a quick conversation about it. Let me see if I can find it. It should be here somewhere. No. Hold on one second. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? It's where Paul Barron talks about all of the institutions on stablecoins. Man, I probably passed it, didn't I? Where is it? No. Replies. Hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to find something very specific that Paul Barron said about stablecoins that kind of speaks to a larger. Oh, there it is. This is it. Okay. So this is it. Okay, so check this out. XRP plot twist. Is this what Brad Garlinghouse was working on all along? Every major bank is racing to launch its own stablecoin. Okay. So you're asking, because of stablecoins, is XRP useless? Okay. And this is my answer. You got JP Morgan, Bank of America, Citi, Wells Fargo, US Consortium Stablecoin, ING, Deutsche, UniCredit, plus 6 others, all trying to build their own type of stablecoins, right? Or all working together to build the stablecoin. Euro stablecoin by 2026, Bank of America CEO says we're ready to launch once regulations clear. Banks don't want neutral infrastructure. They want control. Here's the kicker. More proprietary systems, which are more private systems, right? More systems that banks want to develop themselves equals more fragmentation. What we're dealing with already as a payment system. This is why it takes so long to send money to and from. All right. JP Morgan coin, Bank of America coin, Euro coin. Who bridges the walled gardens? So yes, you're right that stablecoins will play a vital role in some of this, but you're also going to need a bridge asset to be able to transact between all of these stablecoins. All right. And I know I get it. It's a great question, but stablecoins are going to be useful for some other stuff. And then of course, XRP is going to be vital for other things too. All right. JJJ, the market is crashing, bro. It sucks, man. I hear you. Daryl Brown with the seals. I love it. What's going on? We got Jazzbar here. Great to see you. Great to see you. Do not need XRP to use RippleNet, though. Banks can use it too if they choose. So yes, you could. So RippleNet is a messaging service. All right. Let's be clear. Let's understand this. Okay. Ripple has built their technology on top of the XRP ledger. Okay. RippleNet is it's a competing financial messaging system against Swift. All right. If you want to send a message and say like, hey, the payment's coming or whatever, right? You can use RippleNet to do that. But if you want instant settlement, you're going to need XRP, RLUSD, both, right? So yes, you can still use those systems, but like, why would you use the messaging system without the instant settlement? Like then just go use Swift and pay the high fees. It just doesn't make sense. When is the boom happening? Man, I couldn't tell you, man. I mean, Jake Claver says we have less than 2 months for the boom. So You know, he's got all this inside information and NDAs. So, you know, 2 months. I don't know. That's what Jake says. I think it's going to be some time, guys. I know you don't want to hear it, but oh my goodness. 80s Mike, what's up, dude? Great to see you. I appreciate you. Yeah, you know, like so I won't begin to tell you that I know everything about, you know, the economic situation of the US and how all of these complexities work. I do know that companies, institutions, and people have been buying gold and crypto and all of these other things because they are afraid of the currency getting debased, right? The money printing is happening. They want to go into some of these other assets where they can kind of fight inflation on some of this, right? And recently, we've seen some issues in the subprime credit market and a few other things. And I think some of the institutions, you know, we're starting to see some cracks in the financial system here in the United States, stuff that we saw leading up to both the financial crisis and in 2008, and what we saw kind of leading up to some of the bank failures around the 2020-ish area. So I think there's a little bit of panic in the market right now. We saw, like, here, let me see. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Kobayashi. We should be able to find this. Let me pull this up. Let me tell you what I was talking about. Let me see if I can find it. I really wasn't going to speak about this today, but people are asking. So I'm going to try to provide value where I can. Hold on. I got to find it though. Yeah, this is also a problem too, right? The government shut down and you don't have this economic data, right? You don't have monthly job reports. You don't have monthly unemployment. You don't have monthly CPI. I'd imagine this is all really bad. This is my personal feeling. I don't know this for a fact. I'm just imagining this is going to be really bad. All right, let's just keep going. We are now in the longest U.S. government shutdown in history. This is also another problem. The second longest was under the first Trump administration. Now he holds 2 titles for longest government shutdown. I don't know if that's a good thing to have or a bad thing to have. You can decide what that is. But let me see here. Amid U.S. debt downgrades, 2 trillion deficits and government shutdowns worldwide is watching. China's share total U.S. Treasury just fell at 8%, the lowest in 20 years. China's dumping bonds. This is also not good. Yeah, here, look, this is also what we're dealing with here. So like the Fed is cutting rates in the dark. Last week, the Fed cut rates by 0.25 basis points due to weakening labor market. The labor market, guys, the jobs market, we just saw hundreds of thousands of white collar people, white collar jobs laid off due to, I don't know, whether it's tariffs, whether it's AI, whether it's companies having, not having enough money to do whatever they need to because of this stuff. I don't know what you want to label as the issue here, but usually you see companies ramping up for the holidays for labor. Now you are seeing people just massive, right? Unemployment is at 8.1%, the highest in 4 years. This is also a red light flashing, economic red light. The implications of the shutdown are now spreading day to day. The FAA said 50% of all major air traffic facilities are short-staffed. Nearly 90% of controllers out of the New York area facilities. Many airports are completely canceling flights. So the country is shutting down. You don't have trade happening, right? You don't have things moving across the country in some instances here. I mean, look, 3.2 million U.S. airline passengers. Since the shutdown began, federal unemployment claims have skyrocketed. This is also, look at this. This is also another problem. Let's see here. In the report provided, Kobayashi Budget Office reduced Q4, raised $39 billion from economy, delay up to $48 billion worth of payments, delay $23 billion worth of checks to federal workers. As the government shutdown, the U.S. has risen $17 billion per day since the shutdown has began. So we are going to have to pay back all of the people that are not working right now, right? The issue is you're not getting that output from people that are supposed to be at work, supposed to be doing stuff. So the U.S. Is now losing billions of dollars per day. Also an issue. This is not the thing I was talking about though. So let me see. Let me find that. Hold on. There's just a lot of really bad stuff going on with the economy, guys. Like I try to update you with this stuff along the way, and I know some people don't want to believe it, but I think you're seeing with markets that this stuff is really starting to affect everybody's well-being. And delinquency rate on commercial mortgage-backed securities. Here you go. This is also another problem. This is now a full percentage point over the 2008 financial crisis. Like, we are entering a pretty dark time here, and I know people don't want to believe that, but this is like what we're dealing with here. Hold on. I'm still waiting for, I'm still trying to find the exact thing I'm trying to talk about here, though. It was on Friday. The wealth gap is broadening. Yes, yes, yes. Downfall of tech jobs in California. Money market madness. Since 2020, investors have poured $4.5 trillion into cash funds, such as money markets. Net inflows have tripled. No, that's not what I want. Yeah, see, I like, when I wanted to talk about this, I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to kind of pull all this data together and talk with you about it like that, not just kind of willy-nilly from the hip talk about it. Housing market is frozen. I mean, that's not good. I mean, everywhere you look right now, guys, there's some dark things happening here. Oh man, I cannot find it. All right, well, we'll address it on Friday, guys. I'll bring all the receipts on Friday. I don't want to spend like 20 minutes searching for something. I do apologize. Seth, what's up, dude? Great to see you. Nice to see you, dude. Dark times. Yeah, Chris. I mean, I think you know what's up, dude. Like, I don't think it's a freaking mystery about like what's been happening, but hopefully we'll get through it. I mean, we're going to have to. The crazy part people don't understand is AI. Like, I think that's like a bone chilling. Let me show you this. I was doing some research on AI because I just wanted to understand like what is about to happen. And like, I went down a pretty dark rabbit hole last week, and I have not really come to terms with how many jobs are going to be lost for AI. So let me, I know this is getting totally off topic, but let me just show you this because it kind of affected my mental health a bit, and I wanted to better understand it. So like, I went down this rabbit hole. Is like, I want to better understand AI, how many jobs are predicted to be lost, and what can people do once their job, and so it kind of gave me a bunch of information, and I wanted to drill down on this. So here is the estimated numbers for job losses that you're going to see. This is in the United States. This is not globally. Okay. Check this out. So AI experts and corporate leaders predict that 10 to 20% of adult jobs in the US could be replaced by automation within the next 5 years. Okay. So this is probably best case scenario. Best case. You have 163 million employed people in the US, 15 to 64. And then, of course, while working age population is 15 to 64, it's about 212 million. 10 to 20% of job loss would be 16 to 32 million people unemployed. All right. Just to give you some understanding, because I wanted to know like what was Great Depression level unemployment, and just to kind of dig into this a little bit more. Hold on, let me see. So recession, generally about 6 to 8%. This would obviously be way above that. But Great Depression levels would be losses of 16 to 32 million jobs in today's terms would likely push unemployment rates past 15 to 20% towards Great Depression levels. All right. So like, this is best case scenario. That's best case scenario. That's best case scenario of stuff we're going to have to deal with in the next few years. Right. And the hard part is, where do these people go? What do these people do? How do these people eat? That's what's scary. I'm working on building out a video to really kind of go through all of these thoughts that I have about this. But this is also something that you're seeing massive people being laid off. And so you have all of these other things that are happening in the economy. And then you have AI over here, which is replacing a lot of people, right? Millions of people will be unemployed due to this. So you have all of these things happening at the same time. It's kind of scary, man. All right. Don't really want to like spend too much more time on this. We kind of really got off subject. Game of Cats, Great Reset. Like, this is kind of where we're heading, right? And like, digital identity, central bank digital currency. This is how they're going to push you into the system. And this is why, like, I'm putting everything that I have, all of my time, all of my energy, all of my passion into crypto. Like, I want to be in a place where I'm retired in the next 5 years. And the only place that I feel that I can do that is by finding the right blockchain infrastructure company and going all in. And that's what essentially that I'm doing right now with my life. And so all things that I'm thinking about on a daily basis. The cannabis podcaster says, don't laugh when I say start studying cannabis, the future industry coming, and it has real jobs. Man, that's definitely one way to go, right? You have to you have to find something that a machine can't replace you, right? Like, what is your value to the world, and how can you take that value and earn a living off of it, right? And it's going to take a lot of hard work. It's going to take time, and it's going to take energy. It's going to take everything that you have, but you need to start now. All right. Yeah, I get that. I get that's what you're saying, but like, here, let me show you what jobs AI will replace, right? Because like I was like, okay, so what jobs are on the chopping block, right? So here are the jobs that AI can replace. All right. Administrative and cleric work. So data entry clerks, payroll clerks, receptionists, document processors. AI can rapidly automate all this. Customer service, call agents, help desk assistants, technical support reps, retail and sales cashiers, sales associates, content creation. So you got writers, editors, translators, proofreaders, market and political research, manufacturing and warehouse, factory assembly line workers, machine operators, warehouse pickers, inventory clerks, robotics, transportation and logistics, delivery drivers, long haul truckers, rideshare drivers, financial and business, market analysts, personal financial advisors, paralegals are also in danger. And of course, all of these other things. And this is just a short list of jobs that AI will replace. And like, you can go listen to Elon Musk. You can go listen to the godfather of AI. You can listen to Bill Gates. I don't know who you trust, but all of these people are telling you the exact same thing, right? When all of the people that are building out the future of AI are telling you that it's going to be kind of like Armageddon for people in the job market, you need to understand that, right? And the reason you can't stop this now is because now every country is competing against each other. Okay. And so like, even if you wanted to slow it down, like even if we said in the US, this is going to unemploy 30 million people, let's hit the brakes and stop doing it. The problem that you have is other countries are going to push forward, because I think, like, I was looking at a report from Amazon that said that they could save like $12 billion a year by moving to robotics and AI, $12 billion a year. And so you have all of the governments around the world, you have all the companies around the world, all now racing to push these systems into place. And unfortunately, that is us on the other end of that are going to be slowly but surely. All right. I think we need to have like a full chat about this. I think that would be valuable. Yeah, like you've seen car factories in China, they don't even have lights on, right? So, and you also have like China, Korea, Japan, they all have a very aged population. And so, you need some type of robotics for that. And I mean, it's a pretty crazy. Anyways, let's do this. Let's shift back to Swell. Let's shift back to XRP. We got way off here. So I want to show you some other stuff here that I found. This is a great clip. ETF season has begun at Ripple Swell. Let's play this.
Really, the way to think about XRP is to think about the XRP ledger. And what that is financial rails. Think about it as a competition to the financial system, a competition to Wall Street. It's the rails and the ecosystem that will help drive global payments. One of the reasons why I got into crypto, by the way, was I was an emerging market bond manager years and years ago. And one of the things that I noticed in trading bonds and analyzing sovereign countries is the number of remittances that go back to certain countries. Some countries are massive. And the charges, the fees that are on top of people going overseas, working hard, sending money back to their family, and they're getting taken for anywhere between 8 to 15%.
Yeah, I mean, and this is what crypto helps to, stop and avoid. all these people being charged. Okay, so this is David Ripley. This is the co-CEO of Kraken, and he had a conversation with God, what's his name? My mind went blank. I do apologize. He had a conversation with the guy who's in charge of RLUSD. I can't remember his name. I do apologize. Let me just play the clip.
Stablecoins are just a far superior payment mechanism than anything that exists in traditional financial services. Far superior. We, of course, back in the day, thought like, hey, well, how are we going to get Bitcoin and or stablecoins to be used for payments? You have this huge catch-22 where in order for them to be used by payments, it takes two. It takes a sender and a receiver. And so you need to build a network. And the problem is in order for everyone to kind of like adopt stablecoins or Bitcoin all at once to use them as payments, it just isn't going to happen. But what we saw happen is that many people adopted Bitcoin for whatever purposes. A big one, the inflation hedge, the investment on future gain and adoption of the network, all that type of thing. That put Bitcoin and stablecoins in many people's hands. Stablecoins then kind of arose as this settlement currency across all of the centralized and decentralized exchanges.
All right, it was Jack McDonald is the name I was looking for. I do apologize. My mind went blank there. Let me see here. We're talking about the yacht party. Yeah, we're gonna have a kick-ass party when all of this stuff goes down. I'm gonna be really excited. Let me see here. Knowledge Seeker Bro, do you know how many XRP pegged to spot ETFs? I think there's what, like 8, 10, 11. I can't remember how many, like exactly the number. Sorry. A lot of things going through my head at the same time, and some things I forget. Crypto reserve, maybe a little further. Yeah, man, there's a lot of really questionable things happening right now, but this is the path we chose. Now we're on the path, right? How that path is going to work out, whether it's good or bad, we're going to be in it together. So we just need to get along and try to help each other through it. Now says, stop supporting companies that are sacking humans for AI. Unfortunately, man, I get that, and like I understand that passion. And you're right. The problem here is every company is now doing this. Like every large company in some way, shape, or form has to look at this, because you got to understand that all of these companies are now competing against each other. Okay, whether it's same industry, country to country, whatever it is, they're all competing against each other. And when you can find billions, tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars in efficiencies, right, globally, that unfortunately it's a rush now to find those efficiencies. And unfortunately, the people that will suffer the most are you and I, and the people that we know. Like that's it's such a hard topic to talk about. Like, I haven't even figured out how I can properly communicate this in a video. Like it's affected me mentally to try to put this stuff together, and I'm still trying to do that. Today is XRP scam. I think Miss Persia, are you talking about all the scams on YouTube about Swell? I think is that what you're talking about? Let's see here. Sensei, will XRP be pegged to gold one day? No, XRP can never be pegged to gold. David Schwartz has already addressed that personally. That's one of the things that he said, this will never happen. It's not an option. Not an option. Let me show you here. You can actually look this up on Twitter. So you can just say, will XRP ever be pegged to gold? And you should get, let me see what I'm looking for here. Here, wait, maybe can XRP be pegged to gold? You gotta search it a certain way for it to come up. There is something I'm specifically looking for. No, that's not it. Hold on, XRP becoming digital gold, highest institutions. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Hold on, I am going to answer this. There's a specific thing that I'm looking for. So Sorry if I'm making you dizzy. Oh, it kind of looked like that, but it's not that. David Schwartz himself has addressed this, but of course it's buried in X. Here you go. Here's David Schwartz himself. XRP can't be pegged to gold, silver, or anything else. All right, there it is. That's what I was looking for. So great question, though. I'm glad you asked it, but it cannot be. All right. You missed Bitcoin at $2. That probably really hurts. That sucks. That sucks. November 4th, 5th, XRP scam. I think, I mean, are we talking about the same thing here, or you just don't like XRP, or are we talking like about a real scam? Because we should probably, if it's a real scam, we should probably just address it and let people know, so keep them safe. But if you just don't like XRP, maybe we need to clarify which one it is, because either way, you know, I guess thank you for telling us. It'll be backed by gold. I don't know. I don't think so either. It's going to be backed by the assets on the ledger, right? So anyways, Red Panda, they're not all NDAs, right? Some of them are like employment contracts. They're not all NDAs. Like I've done a lot of research on this. Here, I'll show you. Ow. Sorry, I bite my fingernails when I'm what's it called? Hold on. So the question here is 1,700 NDAs. Let me go to my search bar here. 1,700 NDAs. Okay, here you go. Here is the answer to your question, Red Panda, because that's what we do. So it's the 1,700 contracts. They're not all NDAs, because when they went through all of this stuff for the court case, we actually found out what these things were, okay? So you have XRP direct transfers, agreements in which Ripple directly transferred XRP to a counterparty. There are also trading agreements, contracts where counterparties agreed to sell XRP on Ripple's behalf. Service payments, deals in which Ripple compensated services provided by partners using XRP. And of course, NDAs, right? Other contracts that don't fit nearly the above groups, which include NDAs, marketing agreements, and technical partnerships. So we don't really know how many quote unquote NDAs there are, but in that number of 1,700 are a lot of other contracts. There was scam videos. I believe people scan a QR code. Yeah, guys, just try to stay away from it, man. I cannot. Dr. Stan, how do I block Levi's channel? I think he's doing it to himself, actually. I think he's been getting, like, I don't know what he's specifically saying or doing. You know, and listen, guys, you know, not to zero out anybody, but it does seem like there's an active targeting campaign against you know, some influencers. And you know, I haven't quite felt that yet, and I hope I don't feel that. But you know, there has been this kind of you know, I think it was like Oscar Ramos. I saw, you know, Digital Perspective say something. I saw Common Sense Crypto. I've heard Levi. I've heard a lot of people have recently targeted. So, you know, I don't know what's going on with that, but it's really hard to understand like what people are doing wrong. I don't watch most of those channels because like I just want to be able to do my own thing and kind of think my own thoughts. But you know, I know that there's a lot of things happening with that. Kind of scary. Rub my ripples. Love it, man. Great hat, dude. Does the unlock of 1 billion XRP from November 1st have anything to do with the price drop now? So that's a good question. Usually when Ripple unlocks a certain amount of XRP, it usually goes somewhere. I don't believe the unlock has anything to do with the price. I think it's just all of the other things that are happening right now. Government shutdown, people not getting paid, you know, issues with the credit market, issues with higher interest rates, higher, you know, with inflation, with with not having the right economic data to plan ahead. Like there's a lot of really, really not so great things happening in real life right now. And that is having a hugely negative impact on the crypto market. Will we get past this? Man, I sure hope so. But I think we will continue to see pain until some things are worked out. All right. But thank you for your question, man. It's good to see you. I didn't see Edo's back. I didn't. I know he kind of took a while. Oh, been on Versan's page. Let's see here, Sensei. Did you know cactus trees will result flower eventually? I have no idea what we're talking about, man. I don't know what we're talking about. We're growing cactuses. Okay, we're getting into it. All right. Of course, Ripples, man. No problem, man. Anytime, man. We did kind of talk about this maybe like 20 minutes ago. If you want to reverse the chat, I did kind of show you like some of the things that are currently, some things that are standing out to me that are wrong with the current system, and like things that maybe are holding back the market. But that's just data that I was providing for the question like that. All right. First the mushrooms, then the cacti. I feel like we have some people that are what do people call that, like grow things? Like they have a certain name. I can't remember. But we have some people here. Luna's good. She's sleeping. Here, I'll get a good picture of her. We'll probably bring her up here in a second. You know, she's just chilling. She kind of sits in her bed on the floor here in front of me. She's got a really poofy bed, but she's good, man. Thank you for asking. I really appreciate you. Botanist. Yeah, botanist. Is there another name for him too? That might be right. Horticulture. Okay. All right. We're learning some stuff. Here, let's see here. Mark says, Sensei, do you know which XRP ETFs are going to go live this month? Hey man, that's a great question. Let's take a look here. Let me give you some value. I do know actually. So let me see. Is it here? Yeah, you know what? I have this right here for you, man. This is a great question that you asked because I have all the information that you need, sir. All right, so what is going to happen this month for XRP ETFs? We talked about this earlier. Let's just go through it one more time so everybody can be caught up. All right, and so this is saying Canary Capital is expected to launch the first U.S. spot XRP ETF on November 13th, pending the final NASDAQ approval and the 8-A registration. It says Bitwise is targeting a window closer to the 19th or 20th to be finalized, including management fees and New York Stock Exchange listing details. Franklin Templeton updated their S1 to remove delay provisions, aiming for November launch. And other registered funds, including ProShares, 21 Shares, Volatility Shares, Coin Shares, and Grayscale, have also been moving forward. So as of November 4th, 8 XRP ETFs are registered in the DTCC trading pipeline. Actually, I did have that earlier. I did a video on that. I can actually show you what that looks like, actually. Give me 1 second, guys. Let's pull this up together here. DTCC XRP. Yeah, here it is. There you go, guys. It's in the system, right? You have XRP, here's Bitwise. Here's Canary Capital, XRPC. Volatility Shares, XRPI. Here is, this is an ETF long. This is Coin Shares right here, XRPL. That's a good one, XRPL. And then you have the Res Osprey, and then you have Volatility Shares 2X. So you do have some of the spot ETF already listed. Like the tickers are already listed, which means they're right around the corner. Thank you for your question, Mark. Man, you guys want to hear something pretty crazy? You guys want to hear something pretty crazy? Last month, we were able to, with your help, obviously, we were able to do 4.2 million views last month with almost 300,000 hours watched of content. When my team kind of put the numbers together and sent them to me, I was completely blown away. I think out of every XRP, person that creates XRP content on YouTube, I think our channel was one of the most viewed in the world last month. So I just want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to wake up every day and do something I completely love, which is make content for you. I just really, really appreciate each one of you. So I just wanted to share that. I thought that was really cool. And thank you guys. The storm is coming. Love that. I appreciate you guys. It was crazy. Like I didn't, here, I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys. Oh, actually, wait, hold on. Let me pull this up really quickly in the background. If you guys want to see what the analytics board looks like, hold on one second. Let me just go to October. Yeah, so check this out. Hold on. Let me just put this up here for you. All right, here we go. Check this out. So this is October's numbers. Boom. 4.2 million, which is 1.7 million more than usual, which is crazy, guys. This is just truly, truly insane. Like, what's really fun though? Like, when I first started the channel, I kind of said to myself, wouldn't it be cool to like have one of the like the most watched XRP channels in the world? Like that's like one of the goals, right? 3 years later, 1,700 videos, a lot of hard work and a lot of passion, and it got there. So, I wanted to celebrate. I wanted to have an open conversation. Like, I think my team is working on some like posts and stuff about it, but I wanted to share that with you guys, live, because I felt that was important to do. I get more viewers than CNBC. I don't. Is that true? That'd be crazy, man. Man, Albert, I think if the government shutdown really does end Sunday, I think that would be great. Whatever side of the fence you're on here, I think it's scary for a lot of people. And not knowing where your next meal's coming from, I think is probably the scariest thing that can happen for anybody or a parent. And so, there's a lot of problems, right, that need to be solved, and we can't solve them when things are shut down. So hopefully both sides can figure out what to do, and we can put an end to this. That would be great. Walk up, man. Great to see you. Appreciate you. I love the trees, man. I love the shaka and the trees. That's so great. Thank you, man. When do we expect Ripple to IPO? Thermal, this is a great question. So just going off what Brad Garlinghouse said several months ago, that Ripple doesn't need the money right now, and IPOing wasn't a priority for them. So we just saw like Gemini IPO because they were hurting, right? They needed to get some money going. Like they needed to raise some money because things were looking a little squirrely there. And so usually companies IPO because they need money. Ripple doesn't need money right now. And I think that Ripple can do more as a private company than a public company. But I do think they will obviously eventually do this. When will that happen? That's a Brad Garlinghouse question. Maybe he'll be asked that tomorrow. I'll be looking for that answer for you. How many people are on my team? So I have an editor, I have a thumbnail person, and I have a few other people that help out with like posts and things like that, news. But as far as like building content and recording content, I do everything. I don't have it like nobody builds stuff for me. I go in every morning. I go through all of the latest news. I watch it all. I listen to it all. I research it all. And I just start putting it all together. So, yeah. Shutdown ends Friday. Man, I mean, this would all be incredible news, guys. This would all be incredible news. What's up, Base Testra? Good to see you, man. Let's see here. Serious question here. Armada is transitioning to XRPN around Q126. Armada's capital market is roughly $1/3 of $1 billion. If Evernorth is saying what they're stating off $1 billion min, that didn't make quite as much sense. Maybe can you rewrite that and resend it, and I'll try to answer that. I just don't. I think Armada's price probably, if what you're saying here is kind of maybe it's underpriced, the price would probably go up. Yes, especially if XRP's price goes up. I'd imagine the price of that would go up too. Do I have a job outside of crypto? No. I used to, like years ago, I used to be a real estate agent and in crypto, but the last 4 or 5 years, I've gone all in. I've gone all in. People, here's the crazy thing that people don't know, right? When you start a YouTube channel, you lose money. I lost money for two years and 2 months before my channel made any money, right? And you got to understand, like it took a full year to reach 1 million views. It was exactly 1 full year. I created the channel on September 20th, 2022. And on September 20th, 2023, I got to 1 million views. And it took till November 2024 that I was actually able to pay my editor. I was able to pay my thumbnail person, and I was actually able to have money left over. It was like, maybe it was like $1,000, but it was positive, right? And obviously now with how many views the channel gets and how many eyes are on the channel, I can actually live my life and pay my bills. There was a time there that I was negative every month, but I was doing something that I loved. I didn't want to do anything else. I had passion, and my family and everybody supported what I wanted to do. And now we're here. And so for the first time, I don't have to worry about like rent or things like that, where I worried about that every single day last few years, right? Because obviously you have your investments, you don't want to sell those investments to live. And so there was a time where I didn't make any money. Yeah, it was kind of scary. It worked out though. It worked out. And I'm thankful. Yeah, exactly. You don't know if you're gonna get paid or when. Yeah. I think there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money. Sometimes it's not about money though, right? Like, yes, money is important. You need money to pay your health insurance. You need money to pay your bills. So you have a roof over your head. You have internet. You have things to live just as a normal person, right? But being able to do something that I truly loved and cared about, I'd never had that opportunity before. And I didn't want to give that up, and I fought like hell. I sacrificed, and with the support of all of you incredible people, we got to a place where, I don't have to worry about things right now. So, I can't ask for anything else. I appreciate you, Boogie Funk. I got some jazz music in my head now. I appreciate you, man. Am I happy with what I do? Do I feel like a sense of purpose? Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like, if people can see what I see, if they can like get value, if I can make them smile, if we can enjoy this moment together, if we can learn, if we can grow, if we can make some money, I feel like all of those things are super important. And I know if and when XRP reaches its point of utility, I know that everybody who's supported this channel for the last 3 years, I know that each one of those people will be better off. And that is a very powerful thing. And I'm really looking forward to all of that unfolding. I'm really looking forward to all of that. Let's see here. Rob says, give us your best guess. Will Brad announce a closing of Swell tomorrow? Has to be big news. Yeah, man. I think maybe I'll see if I can watch that live. Like, I'll have to see what time it is. Let me see what does it say what time it is? Hold on. I got the schedule here. Let's pull the schedule back up. Let's see here. Where's the Brad Garlinghouse comments? Closing remarks, Brad Garlinghouse. It's only 15 minutes, man. So but isn't there something else? Isn't he? I thought he's being interviewed. Yes. The keynote, Patrick Witt. I think it's going to be here, right? 9 a.m. Oh, snap. That's early. 9 a.m. Eastern time is, what is that? It's 5 hours now. That's 5 a.m. It was at 4 a.m. It's 4 a.m. Okay. I won't be awake just yet, but I'll get up the second I'm up. I will maybe jump on and live stream or jump on and start putting news together. And I'll make sure my team is awake to edit tomorrow. Like I said, we were able to make eight videos today. There's just a lot of content coming, and there's a lot of value there. I think it's great for me and my family. It's great. I still can't put the computer down though. Like, I'm still working 7 days a week. Every day I'm creating content. Like Saturday, Sunday. You know, there's just so many things happening all the time, and like, the last thing I want to do is not give people the information. And so I do need to work on shutting down a bit, and that is something that I've struggled to do over time. But Eric, good to see you, man. I hope you're doing well. Since the XRP doesn't have a built smart contract feature, does this give Flare potential? So you have the EVM sidechain, right? And there has been talks about Codius and a few other things. And so right now you do have, you know, the EVM sidechain where you can build smart contracts and those types of things. I do think there's going to be other solutions. I think Flare has, you know, extreme value in its DeFi layer that's kind of building out. I'm connected to some people that are connected to the Flare team, and so I am working to try to bring maybe Hugo or somebody from Flare on the channel live so we can have a conversation about all of that stuff. And so Tom, what we'll do is, if I can get them here, maybe I'll let you ask the first question or something like that. We can get that addressed right from the source. That would be really cool. Yeah, guys, like, I think, you know, I can tell you that I've been here before, right? I've when I was first in the crypto market, when markets started to fall, I panic sold. You know, I panic sold all kinds of stuff, and then a week later, a day later, a month later, it went higher than when I sold it, and I felt stupid, right? And I know that these markets are going to have these ebbs and flows, and there's things that are outside of the market that are affecting price, and there's manipulation, and there's all kinds of things happening, right? This is why I try to tell you that, like, I really don't care about the price day to day. I really don't, because I can tell you firsthand, I'm very emotional, right? Like, things can get me heated, things can get me excited. I can go highs, I can go lows, and that's just who I am as a person, and I know that. And so I've had to disconnect from price, because I know if the price is good, I'm happy. If the price is low, I'll be sad. And this is, I don't care about $2 or $3 or $2.50 or $2.60. It's just a game. Like, it is just a game. And unless you're day trading, unless you're trading charts and candles and all of these things, you should try to disconnect yourself from it too. And I know it's extremely hard, because probably this might be all the money that you have, and this is maybe, you know, your whole future and all of these. There's so many levels of complexity here, right? And like, obviously talking with a financial advisor is smart. Make sure they understand crypto, having a plan, what's going to happen if you reached your goals in crypto, how are you going to cash, like, all of these things you should probably be working on in the background, right? But until we get to this utility point, I'm just going to keep buying. Like, I'm actively going to keep doing that. Right. And everybody needs to kind of do what they think is best. But you got to understand, like, you're having the CEO of the NASDAQ telling you that the infrastructure for stocks is on blockchain. You're having, you know, Larry Fink, whatever you think, if he's a good guy or a bad guy, or World Economic Forum, I don't know. But he is in charge of the largest financial institution in the world with $12.5 trillion under management. He is telling you what the future is, that all of this is going to be on blockchain, right? You have the heads of Citibank. You have the heads of every large financial institution. JP Morgan's doing it, right? All of these banks are preparing. All of these financial institutions are preparing. All of these countries are preparing. All of these regulators have been preparing. We are entering a new phase here. And I don't know if it's going to take a month, a year, 3 years. I can't give you the timeline, right? But I know where we're going. And I know I want to be a part of it. Because if I'm not part of it and it goes to where I think it's going to go, I don't know how I can live with myself, not taking advantage of this transition to this new financial system, right? Very important. I'm really sorry to hear that, Miss Persia. I'm really sorry to hear that. We're going to do a special Christmas episode? I mean, that sounds great. My mom's actually going to come visit me for Christmas. I think this is the first time that she's going to be in Hawaii. So I am going to be spending some time with her. But if you got some ideas for some type of Christmas special, let me know. I think that would be really fun. I think it'd be cool to kind of have people kind of join the stream, like regular people, just whatever, send them a link. They could jump in, they could ask questions, hang out for a bit. I think that would be kind of cool too. You guys have any plans for the holidays? Are you guys going to try to go somewhere if airports and everything are open? Love to better understand what you guys think. Man, I really hope we get something figured out, man. I think, and don't get me wrong. I mean, both sides are very adamant that they are correct. It does seem like it's hard to not talk about this stuff without, kind of getting political. And I really don't want to go down those roads, but it sounds like if we can figure out some of these subsidies for the Affordable Care Act and people's health insurance, that maybe they can start meeting in the middle and, hopefully that could resolve it. So I know that I saw there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be, their healthcare is going to go up 80%, 100%, 2-3x. And I think that could be scary for a lot of people, right? You shouldn't have to choose between paying your healthcare or paying your mortgage or something, or buying food. I think that can be scary for people. I panic sold ADA after 1010. Man, I think we've all been there. It's hard to not be new in a market and not, even when you're experienced, right? There's been times where maybe you sold and the next day it went up. You just gotta brush that stuff off and just try better next time, right? Because what'll happen too is if you start getting on yourself about screwing up and this and that, you're really not planning ahead for the next thing, right? And you can make mistakes if you just get so worked up into it. So, be kind to yourself. Everybody makes mistakes eventually. Let's see here. Sensei, put one program for conspiracy theory on XRP. I can provide 1,000 facts of XRP. I mean, if you got a good conspiracy for XRP, email it to me. I'd love to take a look. Glossy says, surf's up. Love it, man. Great to see you, man. Man, there's a lot of people in here today. Great to see everybody. Working to buy XRP? Yeah, me too, man. Me too. I do live in Hawaii. Yes, I live on Oahu. Oh, that's so nice. I bet you miss it. Lahaina, peaceful. Give me your email. So I don't really want to type out my email, but if you really want to find my email, it's in the description of the YouTube video. All right. I am not a vet. I am not a vet. But thank you for your service. I couldn't do any type of military or police officer or any of that. I wouldn't be able to pass the medical exam. I have, and I know this is probably something that, I have bone spurs, osteochondromas. And so I've had a bunch of surgery in my life. Here, I'll show you here. So here's a scar. I had a scar here. I've had multiple surgeries on my knees. I've had surgery everywhere, and I have bone spurs in my hips and stuff like that. So I was never going to, be an athlete of any kind, or they wouldn't allow me to do anything like that. I always wanted to be, like, I'll tell you, when I was a kid, the one thing I wanted to do was be a fighter pilot. I thought that would be a really cool job, but I learned pretty young that I would never be able to do stuff like that. We had one of those, people coming in for parent recruiter day or whatever, like you bring your kids brought their parents to work. And one of the parents was a recruiter. I can't remember for what thing. And I raised my hand and I asked, what do you need? And then he said, oh yeah, this. And I said, oh, and so basically told me that I couldn't do anything. So that was kind of sad. But I think if XRP ever goes to like, $1,000 or $10,000, I would have more than enough money to, figure out how to get into a fighter jet somehow, whether I have to go to a different country and jump in. But that's like the one thing I want to do before I die is be in a fighter jet. That's a good movie, man. Abby Box, great to see you, man. I'm just thankful to be on this journey with you guys. Like that is the most important thing for me, is to be able to empower people with information, and hopefully that information leads to a better life. That would be everything for me. That would be everything. Lizard King says, I'll drive. Man, bet. Let's go. That'd be great, man. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So Steve says, what are your thoughts on not your keys, not your crypto? Many influencers are pushing I Trust Capital. So Steve, just to be straight with you, the people that are pushing I Trust Capital are people that are getting paid by I Trust Capital to push it. Okay. Here's the truth. Not your keys, not your crypto is a real thing. Okay. So if you leave your crypto on an exchange and something happens to that exchange, then, you're not going to get your crypto back for some time, and you probably won't get all of it back. I can't remember the exact terminology, but when you have crypto on an exchange, the exchange, oh God, what is it? Somebody in the chat probably knows this, but you're like a liability to the company. Like the company the company has your crypto, right? And they can use that to do whatever they want. And eventually, like, you might be able to get some of it back. But like, if you take a look at some of the exchanges that have fallen through, like Celsius and like the FTX stuff, and what was the big one for Bitcoin that people still haven't got their Bitcoin back yet? Mt. Gox. I mean, that was like, what, like 8 years ago or 10 years ago? It was a long time ago. So if you're not going to be trading that crypto, it does make sense to maybe keep it on a storage wallet of some kind, a cold wallet, something that, allows you to actually have the keys to that crypto. That way, if something does happen, you're not, left wondering, when am I going to find my, when am I going to get my money back? So that is a true statement. Do you need I Trust Capital? That's probably a question that you need to figure out yourself, right? Do you have enough crypto? What level of protection do you want for your crypto, right? There's all of these different things. Creditor of an exchange. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate you, man. Let's see here. Amina says, I flew a small 2-seater plane once for 5 minutes. The pilot told me to drive it like a car. I love that. And you're still here to tell the story, which means you did an excellent job. That's awesome. Let's see here. So, hey there. What do you think of how much XRP could reach in this bull run? To a, like, all we would be doing is just guessing. Like, there's no way to know. Like, there's some people believe on the lower end that XRP should be like $8 to $10. I believe XRP could reach anywhere from $20 to $30 for ETFs, depending on the level of demand. And then there's the Jake Clavers of the world that think it's going to go to $750 or $1,000 by the end of the year. So, I'm more from a belief that this is still going to take some time. We don't even have regulation yet in the US for crypto assets. And even if regulation was signed today or tomorrow, it still takes years to go into rulemaking and all that stuff. So I still think this is going to be some time, personally. But I would love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong. Yeah, if you're asking like what's a good, we love Jake Claver and his predictions. I mean, hopefully his predictions are right. The best wallets that people like and talk about, Ledger, Decent, Tangem. There's another one. What's the other one? Zamen's a good wallet. I like Zamen. I mean, I have a few ledgers. I have a Decent wallet. I have a Zamen wallet. You know, there's a lot of really good technology out there to keep your crypto safe. I mean, yeah, people like Velo, like, listen, like here, I'll go through some assets that I think are still going to be here in 5 or 10 years. Okay. Obviously, like, unless something crazy happens to Bitcoin will still be here. Ethereum, Ethereum will probably be 6 figures in the next 5 to 10 years. That's my personal feeling. XRP, of course, Solana, HBAR, XLM, Chainlink. These are all very important pieces. On the edge of this circle, like I would say, like Velo is popular. SHX is popular. People like Zbic. I personally, I don't have too many feelings about that one, but I hear people talk about that one a lot. I mean, I think there's value in some of these ecosystems. But yeah, Trust Wallet. Yeah, people talk about Trust Wallet. I don't use Trust Wallet though. HBAR has a pretty good wallet. What is it called? Why are you sleeping on the floor? HBAR has a good wallet. Yeah, Galleon is something. I mean, I'm not personally buying or holding Galleon, but Galleon is an asset kind of in the it's kind of a newer project in the the medical AI sector. There's thousands of crypto assets, right? But like I'm really only focused on buying a few of them. Really only focused on buying a few of them. Which to buy, XLM or HBAR? Like I think having both is probably a smart decision. Hashpack. Thank you, Fred. That's Hashpack is a good HBAR wallet. Yeah. Quant, yes. Armando, thank you. Yeah, I mean, there's a handful, guys. I think this industry is going to see tremendous growth. I do think a large share of projects aren't going to make it, though. I don't think people realize that, most of this stuff won't work. Most of this stuff doesn't have customers, community, the money to keep continuing to build. XDC is another one that's very popular. But I think people really need to understand that a lot of this stuff is not going to be here in 5 to 10 years, and focus on the stuff that will be. Right. Sui, Ondo. Yeah. Both of those are probably on the, there's the inner ring where if my family friend is calling me and saying, hey, I want to buy a few crypto assets. What are the ones that I won't lose everything, right? What are the ones that'll still be here in 5 to 10 years? I'll tell them those. And then I said, if you want to get into, some other ones that have good use cases that are still kind of newer ecosystems, Ondo's definitely one. XCC is a sleeper. Yes. Flare. Yep. I don't know too much about IOTA, but I've heard a lot of people talk about it. There's just so many, guys. But you just need to be careful. Ripple has acquired Palisade. Yep. We talked about that earlier. Absolutely. Songbird. I haven't been following Songbird, man. I'm not really the person to ask about that. Let's see here. So JJ says, do you think this flip the switch moment for this new financial system will come shortly before April 2026 to coincide with the new financial year? I don't think so. I personally don't think so. I mean, you need regulation. You need all the rulemaking. Can they get that done in a quicker fashion, quicker form? I don't know. You got to understand when coming out of the 2008 financial crisis, they passed the Dodd-Frank Act. The Dodd-Frank Act was, thick. It took them over three years to get all the rulemaking done, right? The SEC and the CFTC, all the rulemaking done for Dodd-Frank. So if you look at MiCA, here's an example of crypto to crypto. The European Union passed MiCA in April 2023. It didn't go into effect until the end of 2024. A year and 8 months it took. Because you need all the time for the rulemaking, and so institutions know what they can and they can't do. And that's going to take some time. And yes, I have been sick. I was sick about 2 weeks ago. I lost my voice on the weekend because I was screaming at the TV for the World Series game. So my voice was completely gone on Saturday night, Sunday, Monday, and we're here on Tuesday. So still pushing through. I think that's definitely I think it would have to be done before that, right? These are just my feelings, guys. Like, it's not set in stone. I'm taking in, thousands of hours of data per month, and I'm trying to figure out where this is all going, right? I'm listening, like today, the reason I don't think this is going to happen very quickly is like you're hearing from the CEO of the NASDAQ, you're hearing from, the people from BlackRock, you're hearing people from Franklin Templeton. They're all telling you the same thing, that this is still going to take some time, right? And maybe they're all kind of conspiring. Maybe, I think things can or will. I think things are set up in the background. I think there still needs a lot to be done. I think if the system totally collapsed tomorrow and you needed to move to the new system, that it's there. But unless like some kind of catastrophe doesn't push us into the system right away, I think it's going to be a slower rollout, personally. Yeah, you need the Clarity Act first. Yeah, because that's like what is this? Like, who regulates this particular asset? Who regulates this particular asset? What are the rules behind this? What can XYZ financial institution do around this, right? You need all of that to be done before financial institutions will touch crypto on a massive scale, right? That level of adoption that we're looking for is just not quite there yet. Will Russia and China block XRP? Hey, Abby Box, hi from the UK, by the way. Hey, great to see you. Thank you for being here. Will they block it? I think the BRICS countries are trying to push forward with their kind of gold-backed, new BRICS currency. I think BRICS has a problem, though. I think trust is a big problem with those countries holding each other's currencies and debt and all of these things. Would they go out of their way to specifically block a decentralized crypto asset? I don't think it's like we're on that level. I would imagine that some of these institutions in these countries will maybe look to use it. I mean, you can't, because of the sanctions on Russia right now, and I'm not an expert on sanctions, so please, like, this is just for what I understood from the information that I've taken in. But I understand that, mainly that Russia cannot work with American companies right now, so they wouldn't be able to work with Ripple, let's say, on anything. But I do think that if Russia wanted to build something on top of the XRP ledger, they could do that because it is a decentralized network, right? And there's no one to say who can and can't use the network. What does that look like? I don't know. I don't know. I was rooting for the Dodgers, hence the voice that I lost. Rob says, JD Vance appears to be very pro-crypto. Hopefully we'll get another leader that keeps the U.S. crypto ball rolling. Well, I think that's why it's important to get all of this set up right now, right? Because depending how good or bad Trump does as a president will probably decide who is president next time, right? Because if everything is incredible and Americans feel like they're doing well and they're going through life and prices are cheaper, inflation is down, they're making more money, obviously those people are going to be happy and they're going to want to reelect the people that made them that happy. Now, if the economy starts to do poorly, if let's say we're paying hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs, right, and 90% of those are paid by US customers, like if job losses and like, I don't know, there's a lot of things right now that you would say might not be going exactly the way that they would like it to go, right? So where does that come midterms, and where does that come next presidential election? Like we don't know. But obviously, if you want to stay in power, make the country great, right? If you don't want to stay in power, kind of maybe keep doing some of the things that you've recently done. I don't know. Complicated question. Sui, yeah, Sui's good. I know. So it says Russia and China have secretly been using XRP since 2014. That'd be interesting. Hey, Sensei, do you ever wonder why Ripple didn't wait for the SEC approval before buying all the rails? You mean like buying rail, or like what specifically are we talking about? Did they need the SEC approval to make those acquisitions? So many other countries are jumping on the XRP train. That has to be good news. I think, Rob, when you look at the technology, right, there's only so many companies at this level, right? You're at the top. There's only so many blockchain infrastructure companies at the top. Okay. And so, yes, their technology is massively piloted and tested and sandboxed and integrated into all of these current legacy systems, right? When will we start to see the utility around all of that connectivity? That's the question, right? I would have to say that, if Ripple is able to get 5 or 10% of global payments, XRP's price will probably be 3 to 4 digits. If they can gain 25 or more, then you're talking about a really ridiculous price for XRP, right? Can we achieve that? How long will it take? I think, out of all of the companies in the blockchain space, the ones that are probably going to be the most successful are Coinbase, Circle, Ripple, Stellar will probably be very successful. HBAR. Let's see here. Flying O says, do you agree with an LLC move to reduce taxes? Listen, Flying O, I wouldn't begin to say that I'm a tax expert. I don't know, man. I do have an LLC for businesses, and I rely on my tax experts to come up with all that stuff. I would definitely seek tax help if you need help with taxes. Like, that is something you don't want to mess with. Chris, that's a good idea. I'll spend some time doing that, man. Are you talking about like the Ryan Fugers of the world and all of that stuff? Like really early days? I can definitely do that, Chris. I'll take a little photo of that. We are very early, guys. We are very early. Like, and I know you don't want to hear that, and I know we want it like tomorrow, but there's only a few million people in the world that own XRP, right? There's maybe 3 million, maybe not even that. So, we still have some ways to go here. I don't know. That's going to be really interesting. Like, why is he there? What are they going to be talking about? Is there going to be an announcement? I think there's some, great speculation going around right now. I think it's very healthy that the Trump administration is so engaged with the crypto industry, right? I think we wouldn't be as far without all of the things that they have done, right? How they go about doing it, people can question, but make no mistake, without the deregulation, without the putting the right SEC person in there, the CFTC person in there, the OCs, like all of these things were good decisions on a major level by the people that are trying to push forward progressive path and policy for crypto, right? Those are all things that I would say they've done a pretty good job so far. obviously, we're not quite there yet. We still have to get regulation passed, the Clarity Act passed, and right now these two sides are not talking to each other, and that's a problem, right? How do you govern when you can't agree with the person or people that you need to agree with, right? And I think we need to chill out and grow up and have conversations and push this forward. And until that they can do that, we're going to be in this very limbo state. It's uncomfortable. Ripple keeps making big moves, great moves. I don't know what they could be doing better. They seem to be way ahead of the game. Well, yeah, some of the smartest people in the world work at Ripple, right? I mean, they can afford it. When you have the brightest and best and forward-thinking people that work for your company, you can do incredible things, right? And we're seeing that in real time. Let's see here. Betty71. Hey, Sensei, love the content. Thanks for being a great resource. Why aren't good news XRP events affecting the price? I hear what you're saying. When you have a $150 billion market cap for something, it takes a whole lot of good news to move the price. And there's just not a lot of retail buyers, right? A lot of the people that are currently in XRP are in XRP already, right? And, when we get big news, it usually doesn't make it outside of the crypto circles, like the crypto Twitters and crypto YouTubes. And until you can really get the regulation going where you can have like these financial products, like the ETFs should help, right? The ETFs will help. How much will they help? That's still to be debated. But you need to make it easier for people to access the markets. And the only way to do that is through regulation and, giving the rules of the road. So I know it feels like there's a wall of incredible information and the price should be moving. And I get that. And it's frustrating sometimes. But I mean, all of these small pieces of news will eventually add up to this huge flywheel. And like what people need to understand is the flywheel moves very, very slowly. And it starts to gain speed every bit. And then soon it'll start spinning faster and faster and faster. And eventually we will reach that point of utility. And then it'll be a point of no return. So many people talking today. Let's see here. Manuel, what's up, my man? I says, hello, Sensei. What could we expect on the 22nd? What's the 22nd? Is that like a special day that I missed? I mean, a lot of things happening like right now. Are we talking about ETFs? Can we get a little bit more context on your question? I'd love to answer it for you. At some point, mainstream media will have to wake up and talk more about crypto. Well, I think that's the whole point here, right? Mainstream. So here's how I see it, and maybe you see this differently. All right, but mainstream media is the companies that run these news organizations are usually individuals, right? And those individuals, whether on the left, the right, or in the middle, they kind of set, priority of what those agencies should be talking about. What you don't want to do here, right? The people are in power, specifically are in power because of control, because of money, because of debt, and all of these things, right? And if like if you're in government and you're the president or whatever, you're in control, that we're about to go through this transition where some of these crypto assets are going to be used on a scale that we really can't comprehend yet. We think we know, but we really can't even comprehend how much of a big deal this is, right? The more people that own these assets, and when all of this transition does happen, that's a whole lot of people, new money coming into money, right? And so it's a whole lot harder to control all of these new millionaires and things like that, right? When you have money, you really have the option whether you want to participate in some of these things or not, right? And so I think part of it's control. I think part of it is, it's not a priority for these news agencies and institutions. And They spend too much time going after each other and the other side to really focus on innovation and tech to come. And so, I think it's just kind of something that we're just used to at this point. I don't know. It's hard. Okay, we're talking about ISO. Excuse me. I apologize. So, what is going to happen on November 22nd? So I've been building a video around ISO and I need to make that. I just got so busy with the Swell stuff. So, what do I expect to happen? I don't really expect much. And I'll tell you why. The world has been moving to this new standard for quite some time. You're already seeing millions of payments being made through ISO messaging already. This is a date where they expected more banks, a large percentage, like 80 or 90% of banks, to finally be all in the same messaging system. But you can still use that messaging system without using crypto, right? And you still need the rules and the laws and the regulation before these financial institutions really start taking advantage of that. And so I don't expect too much to happen. Honestly, I think it could even be a sell the news event. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. Hold on. Let me show you. How many current global payments use ISO? How much of a percentage of banks should be on the new ISO standard by the end of this month? Here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. By November 2025, ISO is set to dominate global payments with nearly 90% of value payments worldwide expected to be processed for this new standard. As of April 2025, the number of daily payouts exceeds 1.6 million. So you're like in April of this year, you're already seeing 1.6 million transactions per day using the ISO standard. Where is it now? It's really hard to say. Estimates suggest that by the end of November, roughly 40% of banks on the SWIFT network will be fully integrated with ISO. Earlier surveys showed an adoption rate of 32%. I think it's a little bit higher though. They do expect 90% by the end of this month, but there's not a lot of recent data. But like what I get from this is financial institutions are already using ISO messaging and they're not using crypto because we haven't reached that point yet, right? Some might be, but you're talking about like a big bang moment where everyone starts using crypto, and we need the laws, rules, and jurisdictions set up before you can do that here in the US. Yeah, I mean, Jeremy, I think Jake has a company or a solution that he kind of offers to people, right? When he does that, I think it's always a good idea to plan accordingly. It's always a good idea to talk to a financial advisor and get financial advice, right? Because like that's their main purpose, right? To help protect you. And I think there are family offices around the US and around the world that are building solutions for people to take advantage of maybe tax things or whatever, and setting up different things. And so what I say is spend the time, start to learn it. I don't think Jake is a financial advisor though, right? So you would need to speak with somebody that has, could give you financial advice. But I think it's a great, you should be looking into this. You should be planning accordingly. You should be setting up these types of things. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we're going to see, I have been, I'll be forward here. I've been critical about Jake's predictions. Like, people send me Jake's content, and like when I'm watching Jake's content, there's a lot of value in his content, but every video he's pushing you into his services, right? Like he's not making a video just to help educate you. He's making a video to make money off of you. And that's kind of where I don't really like that part about his content. It's why I don't watch too much of his content these days. I think that he has really put half the community in a position where, you know, I've even seen people saying they're quitting their jobs and they've done all this stuff because XRP is going to reach these levels. And like, I don't know, I've seen people in the crypto space before make ridiculous price predictions, and 99.9% of them don't come true. And I just wouldn't expect it to happen. If it does happen, man, I'd be the first to make a video saying, you know, Jake was right, and man, I owe him an apology for criticizing some of the things that he says. It's fun to play, it's fun to listen to, it's fun to be in that moment. But like, let's be honest, we're at $2.20 right now. The market doesn't look like it's going anywhere but down at this point, right? There, you know, there's a lot of really bad news. I don't know, man. You know, it's going to be interesting to see what the community's reaction is going to be to his predictions if they don't come true, right? Are people going to stop watching him, right? Will people stop believing in what he says because of the stuff, right? Because like, I get a little frustrated because like I play clips from, like, people send me clips of him all the time, and like, you know, okay, I get it, man. Like, everybody comes from a different area, they want to hear it, whatever. The problem is, right, you're telling people a few things, right? You're telling people that you have inside information, right? When he says stuff like, oh, I was sitting down with Eric Trump and we were talking about XRP and I can't talk about it, right? Like, that's like, oh, okay, that's interesting, right? He's giving you a specific date, right, of when he thinks this is going to happen. But like, I've already seen clips of him starting to walk it back, right? Like, oh, maybe this won't play out, right? And so I personally think he did all of this stuff to get people watching his channel, to get people pay. Like, he's made now millions of dollars off of his community and in some of the things that he sold to people, right? So like, he did the job that he wanted to do, which was make money from people off of the services that he was going to offer, right? He needed eyes, he needed ears, he needed followers, and he got all of those things, right? We'll see how it plays out, right? I as somebody that creates content that people like in the XRP space, I need to be critical of some of these things, right? Because if we all just start drinking the fairy juice and the hopium, right? Like, that's not doing you any justice or any good, right? It's giving you all of these huge high hopes and expectations. And if they don't play out the way that you think they're going to play out, I mean, that's going to let a lot of people down. And that's what I worry about the most. It's a very complicated relationship that Jake and I currently have. And, you know, I want to see him being right, but I also worry about, you know, what happens when he's wrong, right? Yeah, Zaman is a great wallet, guys. Big queef. All I do is copy other people's content. Thank you. I appreciate your feedback. I will take that into consideration. But thank you for being here. You know what's like, the hard part is I don't watch a lot of people's content. So like, how I don't understand how I copy people's content. Like, I don't watch Jake, really, right? I play his clips sometimes. I don't watch Levi. I don't watch, you know, like, I don't know, man. I make what I think is important. You know? I've interviewed Jake. I've interviewed him maybe 3 or 4 times. And those interviews are on the channel somewhere. Yeah. You repost other people's videos. Yeah, I bet there's a lot of stuff that gets reshared on X. Absolutely. And comments? I don't know about that. My team probably has taken some things. You're absolutely right. And maybe not given credit when credit's due. That stuff does happen. Absolutely. I'm sorry about that. That's all right, Christopher. You know, I'm never gonna make everybody happy. I've come to terms with that, and I'm okay with that. You know, I need people criticizing what I do. I need people questioning what I do because it forces me to be better. It forces me to learn, to grow. It forces me to become a better person. And so, you know, that's why I read the comments. You know, I'm not going to hide from it. He's right. He's right. Our team have taken some people's work. They have reposted it. Like, absolutely. I'm sorry about that. Hey man, but I really wish you well though. And I'm constantly on my team whenever they do take something and repost something that they shouldn't have. And I often go back and delete it. And you know, when you're managing a team of people, sometimes people take shortcuts. And at the end of the day, it's my name on the account and I'm responsible. So, you know, I always strive to be better. All right. Thank you. Thank you for holding me accountable. Thank you. All right. Let's do this, guys. I am tired and now I'm a bit emotional. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you questioning what I'm doing. You know, I appreciate it all. Right. Thank you. Let's keep learning. Let's keep growing. Let's keep supporting each other because that's the main thing. And I'll see you tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of content. I'm really excited to go through this with you guys. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to spend this time with you. All right. All right, guys. You want to say hi to Luna? Should we get Luna? Hold on. Can we say hi? Oh, look who it is. Look who it is. Oh, there she is. Hi, baby. You okay? Huh? You want to say hi to people? Huh? Yes, I know. Oh, it's so good to see you. I woke you up. I'm so sorry. All right, guys. We'll see you later. Okay. Luna says goodbye. All right, guys. I'll see you. Aloha. All right, kiddo.